Good morning, all. Let's see. I think we are good for sound. Test that. Do-do-do. Audio looks good. Cool. All right. Welcome to a impromptu live sketch, kind of a wake up with coffee. Um, I have been having a horrible time getting going in the morning. I take a nice walk or row at about 7 a.m., 7:30, and come back. And I had been doing really good on not caring about social media, but current world has got me all in a tizzy. So gonna start doing these maybe daily just to do my warm up sketch, force myself out of that funk a bit. And you're welcome to join, chat, complain, whatever you need to do. Trying to create more of a little bit of a community here. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I like hearing myself talk, so we'll continue this as much as we can. So good morning. I've got my Boba Fett mug. My Wiley Coyote mug is in the dishwasher. My Wiley Coyote mug is literally the oldest thing I own. It's 40 plus years old now. Bought it way back in the day. Is one of those ridiculously overpriced, sealed, and numbered things from Warner Brothers stores back in New England um, when I used to live back there. So, yeah, this is what I've been working on for a couple of days. So, a lot of this is, let's see if I can take the camera and show. Let's see, I've got, can't really see it there, 18 by 24 inch on the wall there version, traditional, which will be painted, and probably marker and watercolor. Um, I do a lot of flea markets or uh, Sunday markets and caricature shows that I do live, and I bring a lot of original art. I never ever sell prints of somebody else's property, but when it's an original like this, I'll sell that. It's a one and done. Um, so yeah, that's what I've been working on, is a bunch of that stuff over the last week. I've been working on some self promo um, and things like that. And last night, I have an entire list. I think I posted on Facebook the other day of my table filled with just very loose sketches and ideas, and I put that into a clip and kind of go through them through the month. Um, and this one kind of hit me as I was drawing something completely different. I wanted to do a one of my favorites is a Simpsons. Um, I wanted to do something in Moe's Tavern, but a bunch of different characters from all the Matt Groening cartoons, and I've never drawn anything from Disenchanted. I think it's a cute cartoon. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I'm just a huge Matt Groening fan, and so anything he does is awesome to me. So I kind of switched gears and started just fumbling through a layout. So I'm going to turn this off, and this is kind of where it started. A very basic sketch there, and then I drew the ogre again, or giant, and then I started working on some other shapes, and then started penciling in a few things. So what I want to do today is probably clean some of this up, add the background. Um, I love backgrounds. I'm going to put some foreground things in here too. There's just so many characters um, and things that I can be throwing in here. I'm going to have even to the point of having somebody, a little creature here on a swing, little fairy or something. Um, yeah, just kind of fill this up with some fun stuff. But so yeah, if you have questions, comments, anything, let me know. I'm looking at my interface on my Restream again, and they keep changing it on my little updates. So let me know. Let me know how I sound, how everything looks. If you have any questions about my thought process or anything like that, I should bring up Facebook as well so I can see anything there. Let's see. I will mute that though so I don't get any reverb. And okay. Cool. Keep that there. Keep the studio open. So yeah, no real format to these, just I wake up. And customize this. Can I do that? All right. Okay. Let's see. That looks fine. That looks fine. Chat. Okay. We'll leave it all like that and go from there. Comfy. I've got my coffee. I've got my octopus blanket because it's cold this morning after a few nice days. And we'll get started here. We'll bring up. Let's see. I don't know. This is how little I watch this. So I very much do not know any of the characters' names and things like that. So let's look. Let's see. So we got Bean, Elfo. Lucy is the demon, isn't it? So. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. Over here. Sweet. Messages one more time. And let's start cleaning Bean up a bit. Quite a bit of her done there. Get rid of whoever this is. Yeah, okay. Get rid of the map too. I feel like they are running from something, obviously. So clean this layer up. So yeah, I usually have been coming in pretty regularly on Wednesdays to do this, and yesterday was a horrific anxiety day. I, like so many others, have panic attacks and anxiety and do the work, blah, 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 with them. And yesterday was one of those days where I've learned to, which is the hardest thing, not fight them. You can't squash them down, you can't fight them. Um, so you, I've been fortunate enough to have some good therapists in my life. And you get your tool bag and you start doing all the things, and then if you can't, you sorry, let's look at the characters again. And if you can't, then you have to use, a lot of us are medicated, and I very, very rarely take medications, but yesterday was one of those days where I was not going to be able to fight my way through or breathe my way through. It was just one of those days. So anyone who, I think everybody has some sort of anxiety, but panic attacks or any of that, yeah, you're not alone. I'm 52. My dad was riddled with panic attacks when I was a kid. It's pretty new back then to be diagnosed as a man in the 80s, late 80s, with anxiety. He used to run up and down our back steps to make sure he wasn't dying. That was the only way he could tell his mind that he wasn't having a heart attack. So grew up with, grew up with therapy and not being stigmatized, especially as a man, of being weaker or. So I was very fortunate there. So as I started getting older and going to therapy, it wasn't as, I didn't really even think about it as a stigma. So I was very, very, very lucky there. And I try to promote as much as I can that positive with my own kids of like, no, we all need therapy. It's just, the world is rough. So that's my soapbox and why I'm doing these. And so, yeah, my live draw definitely was not going to happen yesterday. I just kind of leaned into taking a break and relaxing a bit, which I don't do often. So, yeah, that's why that didn't happen and why it's happening today. So if you're watching this and if you ever need to, like I said, vent, talk, whatever you need, know that there's people out there who are definitely experiencing it as well. So just, stop by, say hi, get something off your chest, whatever you want to do. Because life ain't easy for any of us. Everyone I know, whether they admit it or not, is going through something. No one is perfect. So, all right. So we got Bean. I don't know what she stole, but maybe we can explore that later. She's got this bag she's carrying. Let me get that. That. So again, using all the props I can to designate movement. I'm really not a big fan of just drawing static characters. Happens every once in a while, but crown could even do cartoon it up a bit more. Have this crown Cool. She's a really funny looking character. I love it. I just love Matt Groening stuff. So let's go back to her outfit here. This hair. Like through like that. And kind of going over here. Like so. Cool. So again, whoever shows up to these, and just thank you again for supporting my art, watching. And I hope you get something out of it. Try to at least give a little bit of insight about my process and my tools. A lot of the same questions always pop up with digital art and cartooning, and same ones I asked as a kid and as an adult. One of the things I will never do, and I think it was funny, somebody posted this, a comment the other day, and I truly love all artists are different, and we all respond differently. We all have our own journey with this, being a cartoonist, being an illustrator, graphic designer, whatever it may be. The internet is so good in so many ways for all of us. It's mostly a free platform we get to take advantage of and show work and all of these great things. And it's just been turned into a reason to just highlight bad comments, bad people. I try to not do that, and I get sucked in. Far from perfect with that, but I have gotten better. And one things I see these memes and I know a lot of them are bots, but people tend to share them. And one of them is all these how not to talk to an artist, or how not to talk to, blah, blah, blah. And, things not to say to an artist. And there's a lot of, we grew up with artists are sensitive and blah, blah, blah. And it obviously is true. We tend to be on a different path or level when it comes to sensitivity at times. And that's where art comes from. And I avoided that and ignored and tried to not admit to that for a long time. But we can be sensitive. But a lot of the speak from artists of this is something I read the other day, and when a customer, the show comes up, or someone who is just not an artist, and the things that are people and artists are dwelling on, like, when somebody says, my grandson or granddaughter can draw just like you, and blah, 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 and doesn't have to pay, or things like that. And I know I'm paraphrasing, but I think a lot of you get it. And these comments have been around since forever. I mean, I did my first caricature gig when I was about 16 in a flea market, very low-end flea market. And I've been dealing with these comments, and I guess I deal with them in a different way. It does not and has not ever bothered me, because these people are truly not trying to hurt your feelings or degrade your art. And even if they are, like, who cares? Like, whatever. Um, um, just really focus on the positive people. People who are buying your art. The people who are like, oh, this is so inspiring. Can I show it to my kids? Things like that. Um, so yeah, it was a comment that really just started bothering me. Like, if you don't, yeah, just and I've always been good. And my oldest kid, she's a phenomenal human. She's 33 this year, end of this month, and she's never been able to, growing up, like, just ignore those comments. It was a great learning lesson for me because I grew up and I'm 5'4". I am a short man, and I never, like, of course I got picked on, and it just never bothered me. It's like, whatever. And and I was very, very fortunate to be able to do that and not take in the bullying. And when my oldest would come home from school or playground or wherever, and somebody would bully her or whatever, and my go-to was just like, just ignore it. And it truly was something they could not ignore. So it was a really interesting life lesson. Um, so when I see these comments, and I really, my first instinct to people, to other art, especially young artists, or and they dwell on the negative, and my first instinct is, you know and I will say it as a, we'll label it the privileged old white man comment, is just ignore it. Um, and I've been to enough therapy now that I know that is not something a lot of people can do. So my advice is just try. Um, Again, focus on the good, um, and just revel in the attention when you are out and your art gets awesome attention. Just really bring that. Don't be embarrassed by it. Bring that to your heart, because we are all, as artists, good at taking critique and taking everything negative to heart. And most of us are terrible, terrible, terrible at taking compliment. It's like we're bragging about. I'm terrible at self-promoting my own art. Always have been. And I don't like this foot, by the way. Um, it's not too bad. But we're all, like, been trained, I guess, to take criticism, but ignore compliments. And let's see. Um, so yeah, really give yourself a break. Try to take those compliments to heart. Really let them empower you. I mean, of course, everyone can go too far with anything and be arrogant or whatever, but I think for the most part, most of us are really good at, you know, tempering that. So, take the good, try to filter out that negative energy, and yeah, have a laugh at the people who are like, oh, my cousin niece can do that logo for next to nothing, and they're, yeah, just let it go. It's not going to go away. It's always going to be there. We all know that, you know, and I'm going to throw men completely under the bus because when you're out there, it's usually men who we know everything. So yeah, that's my little soapbox on that. Take good, be good. Um, cool. All right, so we have Bean here, pretty cleaned up. I think I've got a pretty good attitude going with her. Let's see, new comments there. Good. Um, let's see. Jumping over that little gap, I'll make that into a very fun bridge wall. So I'm going to switch coffee cups. I always forget. I went and bought myself last year a USB heated, where's my camera? Um, Coffee mug. You can spend gobs of money on these. I don't like spending money. Um, but this one was at, I will admit, I have to buy stuff at Walmart. This is one of the mainstays of their home brand. It was like 20 bucks, 15, 20 bucks. And it keeps your coffee hot, different temperatures timed, and it's wonderful when you sip and drink as much coffee as me, which I've been cutting back on. I'm very proud. Cool. Okay, so let's see. We're 27 minutes in. We've got her. Let's draw Lucy here. Let's see. I want to read. Again, I've seen enough that I know kind of the attitudes and things of these characters. So I do think I'm just going to continue with this one where the demon is drinking. Let's see, I'm going to put this one as being new layer so I can move the composition around. And all right, making sure. Okay, definitely a smoker. And a drinker, so yeah. I'll draw all the bad habits here. Pretty easy shape for the head, and the body. Oh, that is the top of the mouth. Interesting. Characters for mat grinding stuff are just never kind of built the way you want or the way you think. They're so good. Okay. So this is there is her there. Do that. Close that a bit. They do go in opposite directions. The horns, a little bit. That. And then small mouth there. Cool. Cool. All right. I'm going to type a message in here as people show up. Cool. Yeah, so we're stop in, say hi. We're just having a wake up coffee sketch, talking about anxiety and artist stigmas and all of it. And looking at it from here, so I can see Bean's foot is way too small compared to her back foot. So I do, oops, do that. Digital art. Very easier to get lazy about composition. Cool. So another thing we can chat about too is, again, I am not sponsored by anyone. Just never gotten that popular. Well, I do occasionally will shout out a product when I am just really thoroughly impressed by it. So back in the day, I used to be a Wacom person, and they are the most expensive tablets and drawing pads on the market. But I loved my Wacom mobile studio that I had. Thing was a workhorse, brilliant. I had it for 5 years or so, long in the tooth, and it was expensive, like really, really expensive. So I made the switch to bigger Cintiq, slightly at the time. I had one given to me actually by a studio, and then I made, after that, I didn't like customer support with Wacom. It was a nightmare, and it was just cost prohibitive. So I tried a XP pen, and that's what I currently do my studio work on, is a 22-inch XP pen. It's 5 years old now, and like the removable and changeable screen protector, and it's amazing. So that's actually not the story. I still wanted a mobile option, and so I went and found. Come on, cup, stay on. Sometimes I don't get it to stay on. Uh, but I wanted a mobile option, and it was before the XP pen had a mobile option, and so I went out and I got a iPad Pro. Actually, I was again given one of those, luckily, or borrowed one or something, and I can't say that I loved it. The Apple Pencil is there's no tactile feel. It's like using a wax crayon on a window. To me, it's just not awesome. So then I got one of those Paper-like products, and I think it was Paper-like, which made things 1,000% better. Having that texture to it was amazing, and I used it. And I don't use it to do much finished artwork at all. I just use it to sketch and work mobily, and I do love iOS, the way it talks to everything and finally works with all my Mac products. So jumping forward, I had another iPad Pro after that, and I was kind of blown away at. Sorry, I'm trying to do too many things at once here. I was blown away at the cost of a iPad. It's still not cheap, but compared to a full computer, my iPad never crashed. Runs Clip Studio Paint, which I use. The same program is on my Mac at home, and I'm just blown away at. Uh, I hate giving Apple its props, but they built a phenomenal product. Still not a great, to me, finished product. It's too small. I'm old. I like a bigger product. Um, let's see, how am I going to exaggerate on his arm? This. Um, um, so, in an unfortunate, what I call a Jason moment, a few years ago, or a couple years ago, I sat on my iPad and basically destroyed it. Um, it was a position where I didn't want to spend. I was working in a studio. I didn't want to spend. I had no reason to have a mobile at that moment, so I waited and waited and waited. Recently, last month, sorry, this is a long story. I got a very reasonable, refurbished, just iPad because they use the pencil now and all that. And it was like $300 or less for the 11-inch iPad. Because again, just mobile sketchpad basically that I can transfer easy and all that. The one thing I did change in my setup with that iPad, this is the meat of the story, is I switched to a product called Rock Scissor Paper, Rock Pen Paper from Astropad. Um, it is a reusable screen, not one that takes a miracle to get set right. You basically it looks almost magnetic, and the texture with the pen tips that they send are just phenomenal. Like, it feels so much like paper. The pen nipped and it was $45, very reasonable. So that long story got you to know that I love my Astropad rock scissor paper. I should probably know so I don't screw up people here. Um, the actual name of the product. Um, Rock Paper Pencil version 3. Um, it's just phenomenal. Uh, I had a issue with FedEx switching the wrong thing, so I got a big box of like someone's trash vitamins when they delivered it to me. So that was pretty funny, but yeah. So that is my product endorsement today. So all right, back to the drawing. So we've got a little demon. We've got Lucy here. This arm doesn't bother me that much, pouring out alcohol, but this one, which I want holding the cigarette, is not silhouetted at all. I don't like it. So I'm gonna move the tail. I'm gonna put this arm here, and then this, and then. And no, he will not be in the air like this. I just wanted to get him out of the way so I can move him around. Cool beans. Awesome. All right. And that will work better, I think. Let's look at some of the. Yeah, it's got a really long tail, so I can kind of play with that. Okay. that leg. And this. And I think I can make even that. This. That's that arm. It's got little fingers, so this. And then there's that cigarette. Don't smoke, kids. This arm here. See, it's one big silhouette. Make sure all my elements are separated. That. One foot there. Here. And bottle of, we're going to call it whiskey because that's what I like. Fix this. That. That's a little bit better perspective. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, still not great. There we go. Cool. I'll do this so I kind of know what I'm doing. So yeah, I think for the time being anyways, it's all on the same level because I'm not that bright. Because I have had a hard time getting going in the morning. I will be trying to get up and just do my morning warm-up live so people can, stop in, say hi, watch for a bit, maybe wake up with me. Cool. All right, so we got Bean, we've got Lucy. Now let's draw. Oh God, what is this? I just had it. What is the name of the elf? Elfo. Yeah, should probably remember that. It's really not that big of a stretch that I should be able to get that. All right. Let's turn these guys off for a minute. Let's add another layer for Elfo. Let's get bigger. Cool. He's going to be terrified, holding his hat. Cool. All right. Eyes here. Terrified look at that giant ogre. About to squash them on this bridge. Cool. I got that line of action here. And so, and little notch in his ear. Here. Okay. Here. This kind of has forehead here, which has a bunch of that. Here. There's that. Cool. I'm going to draw. So, 1, 2, 3. arm over here. There's that. Cool. And then his hair. Scraggly pieces like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. And his hat. And for some reason, he's got a cute pom-pom on it. Volumize that. And then here. Give it a save. And then let's see. This arm. It's here. There's that shirt. And again, this is probably not the final pencil drawing either. It's much more squat. And I'm this way. And then his boots. There's no slippers. This. Like that. He doesn't even have a belt or anything, so let's see. Short little arms. Do, 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 do. That. Cool. Cool, cool. Alright, there is Elfo. Clean it up here a bit. Cool. Alright. I think. Yeah. Its arm's a bit long here, so you can move it up here so it doesn't get seen quite as much. Yeah, he's got kind of a collared shirt on. That will help. That tangent is here. Cool. Yeah, we'll see if that holds up as I keep going. Alright. So we got Elfo. We've got Bean. And we've got Lucy. Cool. You can kind of shut that off. Yeah, that's better. Let's see, about, I don't know, like 50 minutes. Cool. Alright. Coffee. Nice and warm. Check Facebook. Awesome. All right, my friends, let's go back to our giant ogre, or our giant. I think that will all come down. Cool. All right. Let's get rid of that. Rid of that. I don't think I liked any. I like that one. Let's see. I think they both work. However, I do like this one. So this one is a very quick sketch. So let's see if we can clean this guy up a bit. I had a pretty good shape for him, keeping in the graining style. This. That. Yeah. So, kind of want a big squishy guy here. Or we could just keep breaking norms and maybe make this giant character she. I like the idea of having kind of bones stuck in their teeth. So, let's see. Big eye. I think this is the. It's funny. When I started this journey many years ago, one of the things that I think everybody wants to do is be a character designer. And I have come to love environment design and drawing backgrounds and things is my real love. I love drawing trees and mountains and the whole bit. Because it just as important of a character as the characters are. Um, but some days, and I try to not take this for granted, but man, I'm lucky to be able to spend my days doing illustrations and just like trying to draw some really cool shit. Sorry for the language, but I think we all have conversations with ourselves and all these things is no matter what profession we are in, but like, when do I make it? And I worked on some pretty cool projects, but it really just, I look around my creative space, I look around what I do, and I do not make a lot of money, especially since being laid off by a video game company this year. But I get to do just some cool stuff, and I think the whole making it to me used to be like working on a specific project or a company yeah. And then I take stock of things I've done, the things I've got to draw, how many people have bought little sketches of mine, or and how much I see some kids love, or specifically adults really who love some of the stuff I've drawn and bought it, and um, yeah, like I feel very good um, about my career, um, and it's something that will never, no matter what condition I'm in, it will always be part of me and what I do. Um, so it's not a career that just ends, or no matter what my employment status is. I'm an artist and I get to draw some cool stuff. Do. All right. One of my favorite stories of the last few years is I live in Reno now. I was doing the um, Silver State Comic Con a couple of years ago, which I will be back this year in July tabling. Um, and I do a lot of Hanna-Barbera art, as you know, if you've watched me, or looked at my site or portfolio or whatever. Um, and this kid came over. He was probably only 7 or 8, and I had a lot of Yogi up. I had some Flintstone up, and a lot of wacky racers. And this kid got so excited, and he just started naming all of these 50s and 60s and 70s Hanna-Barbera's characters like they were new and on TV right now. And it made my day. And um, it was brilliant. He ended up buying, I think, a Popeye piece and a Yogi Bear piece. And to have a young kid with all this media thrown at him, and he picked out these vintage cartoons, classic cartoons, and was so excited about it, and came back 3 or 4 times. And it, yeah, those truly, it sounds corny, but those are truly the moments of like why that kid was so me as a kid, and why I became an artist. And yeah, those are brilliant, brilliant moments in your career. Um, so yeah, probably will not see this character's toes. However, I just love drawing feet now. So many things that I found intimidating when I was younger, drawing, especially any kind of person. I mean, people are not easy to draw. Anatomy's just not. Um, and it's kind of like got the same stigma as math. Um, it's just not easy and blah blah blah. However, it is really fun to draw feet. The one thing I still don't like to draw, I don't mind drawing it, but horses are hard, y'all. Horses are the hardest thing to draw. Bane of my existence. Still like drawing them. It's more pride, I think, of, oh yeah, I can draw a horse. But I think to keep this completely light and cartoony too. Again, this illustration is going to be full of fun stuff, and I think I will have a raccoon holding on to his tree eventually. Now we get to draw the root system here that just got pulled out. Clumps here. Here. Cool. Beep, beep, beep. Cool. And there's our giant. Needs some kind of clues. I haven't really thought that far ahead yet. Let's see, where are we? Just an hour and get a little bit more. All right. Hey, Steve. How are you this morning, my friend? Steve is another cartoonist on the YouTube. Friends, if you want to uh, follow Steve, he's really just good, and his output is prolific when it comes to comic books. Um, Always been jealous of that. I can barely come up with an idea for a comic, and then I chicken out, and Steve is just writing episodes and issues and just, yeah, killing it. So, Steve, if you want to put up your website or um, uh, link to your books, man, please do it. And in the Facebook comments, I would love for people to read more of your stuff. It's really fun. I'm pretty good. Yesterday was I was just telling my commentary here that my usual Wednesday night or Wednesday evening got hijacked by panic attacks and anxiety all day. So I've been talking about that today as I draw and inviting people to be part of the anxiety riddled community, which I think we all are. Oh, I just noticed that Facebook has closed caption on. That's I should probably turn that on YouTube. I don't know if I can. Sure, I can. Anyways, cool. All right, so we've got our giant. We've got our tree. Gotta give our giant some gross, dirty fingernails. That. raccoon hanging on for dear life up here. Let's make him still in that grading style. Again, I don't know how much detail this will actually end up being eventually, but I'm happy putting in detail. Yes. Sweet. Awesome, Steve. And seriously, people check it out. It's just fun, awesome stuff. Steve is an awesome cartoonist and illustrator. All right, we got a few more minutes in me. Um, yeah, I figured you would be. I feel like I really need to just send you notes and pay you to do my Space Cat comic that I have floundered on. Okay, let's see. Keep the edges nice and round. Don't lose the Creating Simpsons enchanted style. Alright, I feel like these pants need to be very patchworky. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I downloaded both of the ones you sent me and I've been going through them. And yeah, I've got to find a illustration that will work for you. It's been years since I've drawn you a comic or an illustration of one of your comic book characters, so it's what to do. Okay, so I think the pants need a rope belt. I'll put a big knot in here. Like so. And then there's the other side. Rope. This one can break that plane. And then again. Make sure that these are patchworked in. And then we will draw the top of the fence like this. Do cool. And then the belly. And then the ogre boobs. Nice. Cool. I think it came up online as well. Is it the Red Sonja one? Or no, it was the Lutu, I believe. Okay, so let's see. Go to our tree. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, the whole. I don't know if you came in late, so here's the doing an enchanted piece. So let's see. We'll get rid of that for a minute. This is the enchanted characters running away from our giant beast of a man wherever I threw them. No, there we go. And he'll be coming through the forest here. Perspective's a little wonky on him, but we'll get there. I really need to do this actually. Change my sizing a bit, and we'll go from there. Uh, cool. All right. So we are about an hour and 20 minutes in. I'm gonna shut the live feed off for a bit. Thank you all. Great to see you as always, Steve. I'm gonna probably start doing these just as a morning coffee to get me going. I've had a rough time starting the mornings um, every morning. Hopefully around 8:30 or 9 um, Pacific time. So yeah, I'll keep everybody posted as much as I can. And again, thank you all for showing up time um, and helping me through waking up and getting going more efficiently. So you all have a great day, and yeah, weekend's coming up fast. Have a good one, all. Bye.